drag with Remedy. Ballyhoo and welcome. The Passion Project continues. My name is Remedy Robinson, and this is an appreciation. This is an exploration of linguistics, language, and the obvious art of metaphor as framed by the peerless poetry of the modern-day master, Elvis Costello. Today's slow drag is with Clown Strike from Brutal Youth, released in 1994. This songwriting is credited to Elvis Costello's birth name. The entire album where this piece is found might erroneously be considered a return to form after the brilliant dalliance into the genre-busting string quartet sound of Juliet Letters. In reality, of course, knowing Wendy James' Now Ain't the Time for Your Tears was lurking around the same time, and 1996's All This Useless Beauty wasn't far off from the horizon. The gut-punching topics of Brutal Youth helps to make the acerbic wit of Clown Strike seem to make nothing but sense. Literal and figurative, it's as if we get the sense that this piece's sentiment is directed towards someone very specific. We're just not privy to whom exactly. So it's left up to us to assign the roles of clowns and acrobats to the people in our own lives as we see fit. It's just a fun way to live, I think. She'll fix you with an iron cross and cover you up with petals and hang you up with some amber beads and 4 or 5 precious metals. And in that black flamingo chair, you'll sit among her trophies and pray to be abandoned till you don't know what hope is. It might not be so easily spotted when listening to this verse that 5 of the 6 lines begin with the word and. Only when it's written out does this repetition become clearer. It's the way a child speaks, isn't it? Impetuous and imploring, stalling for time, maybe stringing together fragments of thoughts in order to guide the listener to its conclusion that has gotten muddled in the process. The mention of amber beads and a flamingo chair reconfirms Mr. Costello's apparent appreciation for design and architecture, especially rooted in the Art Deco movement of the 20s and into the modern mid-20th century style. The flamingo chair was created by Erik Jorgensen, a Danish designer who founded his chair company in 1954, a momentous year for many reasons. The minimalistic flamingo chair, retailing today for over $1,500, is described as demonstrating, quote, the designer's great sense of detail and focus on tactility with its beautiful rounded shapes, which almost seems to be floating on top of the elegant steel frame, unquote. There is certainly a lot made with very little material. And while the lyrics state that you'll sit among her trophies, live renditions find that you'll sit among her groceries. Oh, how one word can change so many other things around it. Cover you up with petals, as in rose petals perhaps, as in far-flung lovers sprinkling UPS deliveries of perfectly plucked, fragrant petals over themselves as they whisper their desires down a long-distance telephone conversation in the privacy of their hotel room. Sometimes we can only guess at meaning. Sometimes a gossip helps to reveal more insight than one lets on. Then, of course, comes a patented journeyman verbal somersault that we all love so much. Pray to be abandoned till you don't know what hope is. Scour the 3rd and 4th meanings of the word abandon for insight, and still the flip at the end renders trying to crack its code an act of wonderfully maddening futility. But there's one thing that I have to keep inside. Because I was shaking, why don't you get some pride? There was a clown strike, and the clowns threw down their tools. But you don't have to play so hard, and I'm nobody's fool. You don't have to go so far, 'cause I love you as you are. All the ands of the first verse go on to be negated, it seems, with the introduction of but. But there's one thing. Brilliant. Are there any questions more cutting than why don't you get some pride? Can there ever really be pride when relationships are involved? Not the more interesting ones, at any rate. The tools the clowns throw down as they go on strike suggests a bit of hand-to-hand combat, at the same time sparking the imagination of what tools a clown may carry. Fairy dust, silk flowers, squirt guns. The exact lengths one might go to are spelled out in the next verse. Just knowing they don't have to makes the pride comment all the more devastating. The big top is deserted now, and the circus girl rehearses. She knows how to turn their heads and not fall between two horses. But all that seems a simple step if only I were able to love you like I want to do and not by some times table. Rehearses and horses. There's so much movement in this verse that blends the big top with what could easily be an allegory for an afternoon sound check. There seems to be a bit of mouth almighty tiptoeing in the shadows of this verse, I'd say, shooting his mouth off once or twice nightly. All this practicing when there's only ever time for a 2-hour show. And it's pandemonium for the humble and the mighty. You don't have to tumble for me. Even a clown knows when to strike. It's pandemonium for the humble and the mighty. If it could ever be possible to pin down a thesis sentence in any of Mr. Costello's pieces, this might make a good stab at it. Knowing your rights and asserting them seem to be forever at odds with each other. But even an utter fool knows when to hit back. Even an utter fool knows when to demand their version of justice. Tell me what you want of me, or are you terrified of failure? Put on a superstitious face behind all his paraphernalia. We're not living in a masquerade where you only have 3 wishes. It isn't easy to see in a lifetime of mistaken kisses. Failure and paraphernalia. When have these 2 words ever been rhymed before or since? Mr. Costello has always used his English accent to its full potential, first evidenced by floor and law, and my aim is true's less than 0. Dapple in lovely big long words such as superstitious and masquerade, and this entire verse pops with a sort of sure-footed effervescence. 3 wishes and kisses, not just any kind of kisses though, mistaken kisses. There's a vague motif of the perils of answered prayers that run throughout many of his pieces. But there's one thing that I have to keep inside, because I was shaking. Why don't you get some pride? There was a clown strike, and the clowns threw down their tools. But you don't have to play so hard, and I'm nobody's fool. You don't have to go so far, 'cause I love you as you are. And it's pandemonium for the humble and the mighty. You don't have to tumble for me. Even a clown knows when to strike. Dig it. Again, this has been a slow drag with Clown Strike from 1994's Brutal Youth. The double meanings that flow throughout it seem as if they should be so obvious, yet when pressed, they become as oblique as all good poetry would like to be. I'm still picturing what tools the clowns might throw down. Let's add honking horns to the list. It can then double back to the notion of a concert rehearsal. The ability and the joy of heaping as many avenues and blind alleys onto a clever piece like this is part of what keeps us grinding and enjoying a lovely slow drag with each of Mr. Costello's creations. And that's it for today's slow drag, my friend. Thank you for listening. Other gems from Brutal Youth you'll enjoy a slow drag with are episode 8, The Word She Wanted. It's a slow drag with 20% amnesia. Episode 26, Before You Start to Cry. It's a slow drag with a lovely You Tripped at Every Step. Episode 45, The Gallery of Attempted People. It's a slow drag with science fiction twin. And episode 69, Fashion Fingernails. It's a slow drag with 13 steps lead down. You can find me on social media and all the usual places. Just search for my name, Remedy Robinson, or the name of my podcast, Slow Drag with Remedy. Also, please visit slowdragwithremedy.com for companion blogs, transcripts, and other useful information, like where to purchase my first novel, The Most Terrible Time in My Life, ends Thursday. And as always, thank you for helping to get the word out about this little passion project. Truly, it means the world. So, until next time, adieu, my little ballyhoo. Slow drag with Remedy.